Madison International Speedway is the site for the ARCA Menards series in Oregon, Wisconsin. We're right outside the capital of Madison, about a 25-minute drive. This place opened back in 1950. Jim Trado, you know this place very, very well. You can see it's old, it's worn out, and that's what makes it very good.
Sam Bartis made this a half mile. It was covered with dirt for a few years, but really it's been the same pavement racetrack. It's been the track that's proven that Mark Martin and Joe Shear and Dick Trickle and Rich Bickle and Dave Watson, they all made laps on this racetrack and made it to the point where they could go race in NASCAR because of tracks like this one. Worn out, high speeds, and they always run longer races here. Great Friday night racing action on a weekly basis, but when it comes to racing here on a larger scale, if you can last for 200 laps here at Madison, you're doing something right.
18 degrees of banking in the corners here. Now, time to get this party started. Let's go trackside for pre-race ceremonies.
All right, race fans, it is time to rock, roll, and rumble here in the Shore Lunch 200. And here to get things started is Nick Landry with Shore Lunch.
Madison International Speedway, are you ready? Drivers, start your engines.
The rumble of 700 horsepower coming to life here for the ARCA Menards series. Joe Graff Jr. in that 77 going to be starting a little bit further back in the field, as is Travis Braden, one of the championship contenders. This one is going to be very special here tonight. Part of the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge, the Shore Lunch 200 from Madison International Speedway. 200 grueling laps here in Wisconsin.
The ARCA Menards series is brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards.
Qualifying earlier today, and watch this move off of turn number 4 by Chandler Smith. Sideways out of control, but it was good enough to pick up the General Tire Pole Award for this race, especially after a disastrous first lap.
He was the last car to qualify. My jaw dropped for the first time when he only came up 11th on the grid, and then when I see him jump to the pole speeds after that near crash in turn 4, my jaw dropped even wider. What an amazing run on that one lap to win his third pole of the season.
Let's take a look at the General Tire starting grid here. Christian Eck is his teammate alongside on the front row. Ty Gibbs and Carson Hosevar, the kid out of Michigan, in row number 2.
The next 4, never been at the racetrack. This is the first time that Sam Mayer from Franklin, Wisconsin is racing in his home state at this track. Haley Deegan, same thing there for her.
And that's a story we'll talk about a lot here tonight for Sam Mayer. Haley Deegan in the A spot. We'll be paying attention to her all night long in that Venturini Motorsports car. Brett Holmes, second in points, qualified 9th. He was not happy with his qualifying run.
And Travis Braden, top 5 in the points. We showed how he's closing in on 3rd, consistent, but looking for his first top 5. It must have to come tonight. I think really tonight, Travis Braden has to prove a point that he's still in this championship fight. Top 5s are not good enough anymore. He's got to get the top 5s and get wins here in this race and the next 2.
Tommy Vi Jr. looking for his second top 10 finish of the year. Top 10 in the point standings is Tommy Vi Jr. A lot of good drivers in tonight's field here. You see the final row of the starting field. And of course this race, 200 laps, 100 miles around a half-mile facility. We want to take a look at the Bounty Racing Spotlight here. And there is Sam Mayer. You talked about him being from Wisconsin, but guess what? He's never been here to Madison. But in limited amount of appearances this year, he's been very strong in ARCA competition.
He's done really well at. He had a fuel issue. That's what it was. A fuel issue at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola. At Salem Speedway, raced up to 2nd. The rains came before he got those 4 fresh tires to work the way he wanted. He's looking for a victory. He knows he has a fast race car here with Marty Lindley, once again the crew chief, on his number 21 Chevrolet.
He's only 15 years old, won't turn 16 till the end of this month. So Sam Mayer can't believe he's never been to Madison International Speedway. Said he's always driven by the place but has never been here. He's excited about tonight's race, and he's part of the Bounty Rookie Spotlight. One driver we'll be watching here tonight.
And he has a really good race car. He talked about small changes all during practice. We had a practice this afternoon from 1:15 to 3. That was it. That's the only time he could get on the racetrack, and we cycled out the cars 4 to 5 at a time.
What are your keys to tonight's race?
You know, I mentioned brakes earlier. Brakes are still the key. This is the heaviest braking track we've come to, especially into turn number 1. Road race brakes, and Martinsville come to mind when you talk about how much you have to set up for those. Turn 2, I think, is also a very important place. That's where you want to get positioned, get to the bottom, That's where you can make the passes. Also, the track so worn out, these tires can wear, these drivers at some point, if they slip up, that's 3 or 4 tenths a lap. You got to stay on the groove.
It is now time to race in America's Dairyland here with the Shore Lunch 200. The 16-year-old out of Talking Rock, Georgia, able to grab the victory. He's the defending winner of this race, looking to become the only multi-time winner here in ARCA competition at Madison.
11th time here, Bob, but it's been several years since the year 2011. We came back almost every year since, and what we found is a lot of drivers that have not won before and not won since in the winners category here at Madison International Speedway. We see Michael Self in the 25 again. He's not been here before, but he was also beating himself up about not getting consistently done on his lines. He said, I need to pick it up. After practice, he was kind of beating himself up, saying, how do I get a consistent run here? This track is trickier than you think.
Good battle here for the 4th spot. Ty Gibbs in the number 18 and Sam Mayer in the number 21. Two of the bright spots battling for 4th on the racetrack. These kids have so much talent, and we know we're going to be seeing them in the upper echelons in NASCAR in the years to come. With
the benefit of the racing electronics scandal, listening to these young drivers, including the ones we're watching here, Chandler Smith and Carson Hocevar, the intelligence they have at these young ages. And Chandler's been in a super late model or similar since the age of 12. He's already 16, going to be 17 this year, and off to Iowa tomorrow to run his first truck race for Kyle Busch. These guys are really getting adept to these heavier race cars and finding the groove quickly, and their feedback's been excellent. I can't believe how good they are at these young ages.
Carson Hocevar is really a special driver as well in that number 28, climbing to the back bumper of the Craftsman number 20 of Chandler Smith. He's just 16 years old. He won a super late model race at Berlin Raceway at 13 years old. He wasn't supposed to be racing at that NASCAR sanctioned track, so he had to leave that track and go to race other touring series. He's got wins on the CRA circuit, and he's really showing his stuff this year in a stock car for the first time in a full-time capacity here in the ARCA Menards series.
Racing the GM Parts Now Chevrolet. That's a sponsor tied to Berger Chevrolet. If you follow short track racing like I have in the upper Midwest, that's Johnny Benson Jr.'s longtime sponsor. Johnny's the man who's kind of coaching Carson Hocevar through hobbies, including working out, making sure you have other hobbies outside of racing to get your head around what you need to focus on. And Johnny was the one that gave him pointers in an outlaw late model at the age of 12 and 13 to get him positioned for these opportunities.
Carson did have some problems. That 28 had some problems in practice with braking earlier today. They think they got it sorted out, but speaking to Carson right before the start of this race, he said it's something that he's still certainly concerned about.
Look at this battle now. We're going past Dick Carton at number 11. This is a good run. This is where Christian Eckes wants to get in the groove, but he can't quite do it, can he? That black monster Toyota is right on his bumper coming off of turn 4.
This is what I find about Ty Gibbs, is he honestly gets better and better the longer the run. He's not really good on the starts or the restarts of a race, but at his age, it's incredible the prowess that he has honestly shown in his limited a number of starts. We mentioned 4 starts so far, only 1 finish outside of a runner-up finish, and I teased him about that the other day. I said, man, you're the bridesmaid. He goes, I know, it's killing me. This team actually, because Riley Herbst runs the big tracks, has actually finished in the runner-up spot on 4 different occasions, 3 of them by Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, it's amazing that Riley Herbst has finished second at Pocono and at Talladega. This team, though, with Mark McFarland, has been here before. Mark has been a crew chief. He came last year with MDM Motorsports. 3 of their teams finished top 5. So when you talk about how new it is for Ty Gibbs, there's a lot of great notes that apply from last year to this year for this number 18 driver and his crew chief, Mark McFarland.
The 60-year-old Ty Gibbs goes to the 3rd spot. Alex Hayden, what do you learn? No.
Well, I talked to Ty an awful lot earlier today in the garage, especially after practice. Asked him about the race car, and he said it just wasn't that good. He needed it to rotate in the middle of the corner and get off of turn 2 specifically. He felt like that was his weak spot out there in practice today. This youngster, he's a quick study. He's already learning how to get around this tough racetrack.
And Alex, the one thing that a lot of these drivers are going to have to manage here today, and Jim, you spoke about it in terms of your keys to the race, managing the brakes. And if you look at the front rotor of the 18, it looks okay, but if you look at that 15 on the left front, I'm seeing some glowing rotors already early in this race. We're just 16 laps in.
Very quick pace, but also look at the left front, inside the left front wheel on the 15 of Christian Eckes. I saw it glowing off of turn number 2 that time. There it's glowing again. That's the brake pad overheating. Now the advance in technology means it's not going to lose brakes. That high temperature, however, means that it could be a problem later on. After that high intensity heat, lap after lap after lap, the right front is not glowing. They have an adjuster in the car. They can adjust more rear brake into it, but that'll affect the handling, Bob. You can't get the same line out of the race car when the rear is doing more braking than front because the fronts are cooked basically for a short term.
Alex, what do you know about the brakes here today?
Well, one of the things you guys are talking about is being able to adjust the brakes. Listening to their in-car radio for Christian Eckes before the drop of the green flag, they did not want to turn on the front brake fans to get extra air to that brake caliper until they got a good 20 laps in. Haven't quite made it to that point as of yet. You guys are already talking about the brakes glowing cherry red. So they want to get at least to lap 20 before they tell Christian to turn the fans on and try to bring a little more cool air on those brake calipers.
And another thing to think about, Jim Trado, is not only the braking and so forth here, but the sun still hasn't set here. And the handling characteristics and what this track does when night falls upon this racetrack is going to change the game completely.
We had 40-mile-per-hour winds here. 70 degrees maybe is a high temp. We're going to be dipping down. It's sweatshirt, maybe a light jacket weather here. This track, when it gets cold, doesn't like to hold a lot of grip in it. It's going to be a little slick out here. It's not going to have a lot of adhesion with these tires around this racetrack.
The pavement is old and worn out, but that provides great racing action for no matter what division is racing here. Whether it is USAC, late models, or the ARCA Menards series, you see it all at Madison International Speedway. Just over 20 laps into this one, and Chandler Smith is doing what he did last year, dominating the race so far here at Madison. Nearly 30 laps into the Shore Lunch 200 for the ARCA Menards series at Madison International Speedway. Haley Deegan in that Venturini Motorsports number 55 currently rides in the 9th spot. 3rd place in points is Travis Braden in that number 27. He had an awful qualifying effort earlier today, and that team was so disappointed, Jim, because they thought they had a better race car.
The car they crashed at Toledo had just minor damage. They got that repaired. They got it on the racetrack. They thought they had a car that could handle longer runs. Qualifying is a 2-lap sprint. So we'll see if that holds well. But right now they are fighting to stay in the top 10 right behind Haley Deegan in this TRD 40th anniversary Toyota Camry.
I'll tell you what, Deegan moves the needle. She has shown that she can win 3 times a winner in the NASCAR Can-Am Pro Series West. That epic battle that I mentioned earlier in the show last week with Derek Kraus. A little bump and run. They went at it. That green-white checker finish. In the end, Haley put the bumper to Derek, her teammate, after Derek kind of nudged her out of the way. She will not, back down on anybody. She says, listen, if somebody's going to rub her, she's going to knock them right back.
Carson Osavar knows a thing or two about racing on the short tracks, racing all throughout the Southeast in the Snowball Derby, a native of Michigan. He's yet to get his driver's license. This young man's got a lot of future potential.
What's going on with the 28, Alex?
You guys talk about his underachieving and overachieving as a youngster. Keeping in mind, just as a teenager, he is mature beyond his years when he's behind the wheel of a race car. He says the car right now is a little bit too free on entry into turn 1 specifically. Much the same in turn 3, but nowhere near as bad as getting into turn number 1. So what he's done as a young driver, which is hard to believe, he started to back up the corner and he's beginning to roll out of the throttle a little sooner than where he normally would if he have a good handling race car. Therefore, he's able to get down into turn number 1 specifically better than he had been earlier in the race, get back on the throttle sooner. So this young man's doing a fine job in the early laps of this race, understanding what the car's doing and what to do to cure that handling before they can get to pit road and make an adjustment.
And Jim, you can see by those times that he has slowed down just a little bit.
He's also learning that his brakes were not the best in practice. He said he actually went to a road racing school this past Monday with Driver's Edge Development. That taught him about brakes and management. He said he's actually tapping the brake every straightaway here to make sure he has brake going in the corner. That's something he learned in the Ron Fellows Road Racing School they did in Nevada this week. So he said it applied to what I'm learning now, but if he doesn't have the right brakes, Bob, I'm worried about what he's going to do on lap 150 to 200 when those brakes get softer. Again, he's tapping them while going down the racetrack, flat on the mat with the right foot on the gas, tapping the left foot on the brake to make sure he's got brake pressure built up in that pedal.
Wow, Christian Eckes, look at the rotors on both sides of the front end on that JBL.com number 15. Here's what he has done. He's one of the more experienced drivers, especially on the short tracks on the ARCA Menards series. He's got 4 wins, Salem, Springfield, Lucas Oil Raceway, and of course Nashville this year. This kid is just flat out good. A former Snowball Derby winner in Pensacola, Florida, which is held the first weekend in December each and every year. He's a Toyota Racing Development driver, one kid that we expect to climb the ladder here in the next couple of years.
He's finished 7th or better in every race he's run this year, with the exception of the accident at Talladega. I like the fact that Christian knows he's had an opportunity in the Kyle Busch Motorsports truck where he sat on the pole with that Daytona. He's back in that truck tomorrow, but he knows his job is tonight to get back in this championship hunt. He's not top 3 now, but he can make up some serious points with a good, strong run in that JBL number 15.
A battle brewing right here. Eckes has that 4th spot. Mayer is in 5th in the number 21, but see Brett Holmes right behind that. 2nd in points coming in, goes to the inside of the 21 of Sam Mayer. Brett Holmes is on a little bit of a hot streak right now. 2 consecutive top 5 finishes. He's a guy that's expecting to go to victory lane here before the end of the season.
His confidence is growing by the day. Shane Hoffman and that team, they have put together something really well with him, because you know what? They rebuilt the entire team. They brought crew members that were with Shane last year and working with Harrison Burton and all the success he's had to get a full-time truck ride. Brett has entrusted Shane Hoffman and his team and his guys to get it right. And Brett said, I've never felt better in a race car from lap 1 of practice to the finish that I have this year.
Looking at this battle right here, Brett Holmes, the only driver not a teenager in this battle, from 4th through the 6th spot on the racetrack. So a lot more racing to come here in Madison, Wisconsin. Chandler Smith leads. Welcome back to the Shore Lunch 200 for the ARCA Menards series at Madison International Speedway. This still is the best battle on the racetrack. Chandler Smith has checked out on the field by 5 seconds. But Christian Eckes is just holding on right now to that 4th spot. We see actually this group of cars catching the 28 of Carson Hocevar as well, who's riding right in front of the 15 in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch these cars, how fast they're getting around this racetrack, trying to close in on Carson Hocevar. Again, Hocevar is one of the drivers that's not been here. Then we have the number 15 of Christian Eckes, who was not here last year because he was making his truck debut for Kyle Busch Motorsports in Iowa. So he said, I love this racetrack. I'm glad we're back. And he's running for a full-time championship, so we'll keep an eye on him. The 21 of Sam Mayer, 7 or 8 ARCA race this year, full K&N East. He's already still run some Trans Am races, getting as much experience as he can with Marty Lindley on the stock car side. He's going truck racing starting in August at Bristol. So we are seeing the next layer of talent getting fine-tuned here on this treacherous half-mile racetrack. Chandler Smith, though, I'll tell you, when he won the pole here last year, I was like, okay, kid's fast for a lap. Wow, did he put it on him? He led over, the last half of the race was his and his alone.
Chandler Smith using the same car here tonight that he won with 1 year ago. And honestly, when Chandler Smith got that first win in the ARCA Menards series at Madison last year, he was in a state of disbelief.
Last year, ended up winning Madison and Salem Speedway. I was flipping out when I came across the finish line. I was like, holy cow, I finally won an ARCA race. I was like, it was 4 races, but all of those races besides Nashville, I felt like personally I should have won all of those races. And the fact that I finally did it, I was like, dude, we actually did it. And definitely in the moment, you don't really think anything about it until people start telling you later you just kissed a guy. I was like, all right, dude, I just won the race too. It's a tradition, so get over it. You know what I mean? It's definitely pretty cool that I'm even affiliated with Venturini Motorsports and Toyota Racing Development. Me and Billy Venturini working together, he's just like amazing with my feedback. He does everything that I feel like we need to do. Sometimes you'll get a crew chief that kind of disagrees with you on some stuff, and y'all have some conflicts together, and it all comes down to like who you're driving for and what equipment you're in as well. It's definitely came to me a little bit. If you're in really good equipment and you have good people behind you, obviously it's going to be a lot easier to drive than if you get into a really old car and you don't have really good people behind you. So you got to look at that kind of stuff when you start getting higher up in the ranks. That's the main thing in my eyes.
Jim, the question is, will Chandler Smith get that traditional kiss by Big Bill Venturini, the 2-time ARCA champion in victory lane? It's an Italian tradition from Chicago that he started years ago when his drivers went to victory lane after he got out of the seat.
Yeah, and he actually said Andy Granatelli, who owned Mario Andretti's car when he won the 1969 Indy 500. It was Andy Granatelli, also a Chicagoan, an Italian, 100% Italian, did the kiss. And that's what Big Bill felt he had to carry on as well.
So Sam Mayer has slipped up just a little bit here. Mayer, who was riding 5th just a few laps ago, has actually fallen back to the 8th spot and is now being pressured by the 55 of Haley Deegan.
Part of that track difference, trying to get that car to stay on the bottom, as Haley talked to Alex Hayden about at the beginning of the broadcast. Keeping on the bottom, keeping consistent is one thing, but keeping that long-term run. Even if Christian Eckes has those right front and left front brakes glowing, he's been able to pull away from this group. So it's a matter of keeping that long-run speed in the car that these guys are learning on the fly, and gals in Haley Deegan's case.
Alex Hayden actually mentioned earlier today that a female has never won in the ARCA Menards series. Haley Deegan could certainly do that. She's learning. Only her 2nd series start here, but she has so much prowess, actually 3rd series start. She has so much prowess behind the wheel. Are you impressed with Haley?
I am, and her feedback is amazing. When I was at Pocono Raceway, they had an all-day test on Wednesday, raced on Friday. She went through the process. She made very little changes when it came to Friday. They had a practice session prior to the race. The way she communicates with her crew chief, 10-time ARCA champion Frank Kimmel, it's really, really good, where she is giving them feedback. She's responding to what they're changing in. She's asking for changes. That doesn't happen often with young drivers with Haley's experience. Only 3 years now, I believe, in stock cars.
I'm impressed with the 22 of Corey Heim as well, that driver out of Georgia, the Chad Bryant Racing Stables number 22. Currently Heim running in the 7th spot. He started out his ARCA career earlier this year with 2 consecutive 5th place finishes, then a 10th, then an 11th. He said, I'm a little bit disappointed. I need to get back on track. He feels this is the place to do so because he compares this place to Five Flags Speedway, where he started his ARCA career with the top 5 earlier this year.
But Bob, he's got late model stocks with Lee Pulliam. He's also racing in super late models with Matt Drake this season, and last year he was doing a very active schedule. I like the fact the kid's in a lot of equipment. So to him to run Pensacola, running those blizzard races, running the Snowflake, he's got a lot of experience on older worn-out racetracks that are paying off. And he's got Paul Andrews as his crew chief. I think that's a huge advantage for him.
1st and 2nd in points battling on the racetrack. Michael Self in the Sinclair number 25 moves by Brett Holmes, so moves Self into the top 5 right now. Holmes out of the top 5. Michael Self earlier in practice, he did not look good. His first laps on the racetrack, he was all over the place, up in the 3rd groove. I said, how was it, Michael? He said, man, it was really hard to figure out this racetrack. But we've heard that old song and dance before, haven't we?
Yes, we've heard of that short tracks, we've heard of the big tracks, and he's done a whole lot of leading laps this year. He leads the Valvoline lap leader category this year, and leading the most laps of anyone after these 9 races. I also like the fact that Michael Self can tell others how to drive. That's what he does with Trans Am drivers all season long when he's not in this race car. But that also means he's twice as hard as himself, I believe. Trying to get that right, trying to compute how to get a better line. And he didn't have that figured out in practice for the majority of the time he was in that 25 today.
Michael Self went to Pensacola, Florida, Five Flags Speedway for the first time and won there. Can he do it today in Madison, Wisconsin? He's got to catch that car, though. Chandler Smith, his teammate, still leads here at Madison by a large margin in the Shore Lunch 200. Tonight is round number 5 of the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. The opening 2 rounds won by Michael Self. And then it was Christian Eckes, Chandler Smith, the most recent winner. This is an 11-race schedule on short tracks that is part of a mini-series within the championship equation in the ARCA Menards series.
We had on the 2 one-mile tracks on the dirt in Illinois, round 8 and round 9. We wrap it up at Lucas Oil Raceway in October. A lot more short track racing coming to you. The whole Sioux Chief Short Track Series is live on MAP TV.
Good battle right here for the 3rd spot. Christian Eckes in the 15 has it. Michael Self, the series point leader, wants it. And these are teammates battling on the racetrack. We now welcome in the booth with us here at Madison International Speedway, Jeff Abbott, the Menards promotional manager. 10th season for Menards involvement with this series. How special is that, Jeff?
It's really special. And wow, tonight, what a great show they're putting on. I've been watching these races now for many, many years, and the racing just gets better and better. And for some reason, the drivers seem to get younger and younger.
Yes, they do. Absolutely. A lot of teenagers in tonight's starting field. You know, I know Menards has been part of ARCA for a long time. How is that important to Menards and its products?
Well, Menards is a family-run business. since 1958, and the Menard family has always had a strong interest in racing, and if you look around here tonight, you can see why. I mean, we're a family business. We cater to families, and you look around here and you see all sorts of families, kids doing things with their parents and grandparents. It's really exciting to see this, and really good for our business to be involved.
Jeff, you guys stepped up. Menards did as the title sponsor of the series, the ARCA Menards series, announced at Daytona. You're involved in every race. We're on to St. Louis next week. How do you activate with your customers and your people wherever you may race in the ARCA Menards series?
Well, perfect example. I mean, it was sprinkling all day and threatening rain, and we still had a great turnout tonight. We had a contractor hospitality event here, and gave out some great prizes. We actually had bumpers from some race cars that they went crazy over, and some racing gloves. And in our stores, we have the opportunity for contractors to get involved, and we send them to the races. We sell tickets to the races. If you haven't got your tickets for St. Louis next week, or Chicago the following, or looking down a month from now, Elko, Minnesota, you want to pick up discount tickets at Menards. They're much cheaper there.
23 stores in this area had discounted tickets for tonight's ARCA Menards Series event here at Madison International Speedway. Jeff Abbott, we thank you so much for coming on here on tonight's broadcast on MAV TV.
You bet, and thank you. Remember, you save big money on those tickets.
Closing in on the halfway point in the Shore Lunch 200 for the ARCA Menards Series. Madison International Speedway in Wisconsin. I'm Bob Diller, Jim Trado alongside Alex Hayden on pit road. Corey Heim and Sam Mayer, they've been battling quite the battle on the racetrack.
15-year-old Sam Mayer, never been to this racetrack, got together with Marty Lindy at the beginning of the year. They want to go racing. They've done it in a fine fashion. This young man on the 21 machine, he is showing he has the prowess. He led every lap at a win in the Cannon East at Bristol Motor Speedway. The 22 of Corey Heim. We talked about how much short track racing he's gotten in. He was a champion on the small track at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and that car says Speedway Children's Charities because he said, that's my home track, that's where I got my start. And now he's racing here, trying to get as many races in racing for the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. He's only 16 years of age, as is this young man, Chandler Smith, who tomorrow he's off to Iowa Speedway to make his debut in the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series.
That's going to be interesting. Double duty for Chandler Smith. Halfway through this one, and Chandler Smith dominant, trying to go back-to-back here at Madison International Speedway in the ARCA Menards Series. Let's take a look at the Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap here for the Shore Lunch 200. Chandler Smith on the General Tire pole.
Chose the outside, and he has not looked back since, Bob. We saw some great racing. We still see a lot of racing throughout, but this is earlier in the day when we don't see those brakes glowing just yet. Chandler checking out on Carson Hocevar, who started right up there with him in the 4th position.
Sun was still out when we began this one. Ty Gibbs battling with Christian Eckes. Ty Gibbs, 3 runner-up finishes. He was able to get by the number 15 out of Venturini Motorsports and its stables in Concord, North Carolina. Ty Gibbs currently running in the 2nd spot, a spot that he's very familiar with. They're the glowing rotors for the 15 of Christian Eckes, and a battle amongst teammates, Michael Self and Haley Deegan.
It's almost like we're in a title fight here. It's how hard do you want to push it? What round do you want to expound more energy? Because you've seen a lot of cars drift back 2 or 3 spots, then climb ahead 2 or 3 spots. They had a better round, if you will, as this race wears on.
Hocevar was 2nd early in this one, is back to 9th now on the racetrack. Chandler Smith continues to lead here past the century mark in this one. That was the Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. You can see only 1 leader so far. Still 97 laps to go in this one. Fastest lap turned by young Ty Gibbs.
Cautions, 0. These teams want a pit stop. They want to come down pit road. There's enough fuel in these cars with 22-gallon cells. They don't have to come in for Sunoco fuel, but what these teams want is tires on these cars as soon as they can, and maybe make a quick adjustment on these chassis because they now know what it feels like to do a 100-lap run on this tough half mile.
Look at this, Jim. The 20 of Chandler Smith has caught the 22 of Corey Heim. Heim is in the 7th spot. You talk about domination. That's an understatement tonight for Venturini Motorsports number 20 of Chandler Smith.
And we've seen this year on the short tracks, if you've been following along on MAV TV, if you can get cars lapped down, if you can get really good cars a lap down, that changes the strategy another layer because when there's a caution, if the teams like to pit, only the lead lap cars get to pit the first time by. And that whole position could change with the free pass given to the car. But if the number 21 machine or 22 machine of Corey Heim go a lap down, And the leader at the race at the time, Chandler Smith back here, said there's a caution after he passed the 22, if he gets to him. There's a free pass. But that still does not give you the advantage of getting a lead lap. You have to pit on a lap later.
By the way, Carson Hocevar continues to drop. Joe Graf Jr. in that Eat Sleep race machine for Chad Bryant Racing, trying to go to the outside of the 28. Joe Graf Jr. coming off a great run, his best of the season at Michigan, then went to run the NASCAR Xfinity Series for RCR, did not qualify. He's struggling a little bit. Up and down season for Joe Graf Jr., and here's what he has done in his short track career in the ARCA Series. You see those 16 starts highlighted by that big win at Berlin Raceway outside of Grand Rapids, Michigan last year.
Yeah, Joe's had a really, really strong car. Chad Bryant and the team have put every effort into this. This is the car he rode here last year at at Madison. So there's some familiarity finally coming back to Ford, because Joe is a brand new driver to this level of racing 1 year ago, running 19 of the 20 races. Coming back to a track with familiarity, I think that adds to his confidence. It was a pretty low confident run last week. In through this week, coming in, even after practice, I talked to Joe. He said, we're making a lot of changes. I really don't know what I have in my race car. So I don't know if he's at that level yet, but the way he's running now, keeping that car on the bottom, I think he's got a chance here, Bob. I really do. If he gets a pit stop and gets a chance, because Chad Bryant's won a championship. He's a 3-time Cometic crew chief of the year.
Oh, trouble. Corey Heim, I believe, the 22. It looked like the 22 in our camera shot right there. Yes, into the wall in turn number 3. The 16-year-old out of Georgia with a great run here today. And midway through this one, he's up against the wall.
He was running so hard with Sam Mayer, lap after lap after lap, for top 5 position.
What's going on, Alex?
Well, I can tell you down here inside turn number 1, before the caution came out, I saw Corey Heim. He really gave the hard chrome horn to the back bumper of Mayer, moved him up the racetrack here in turns 1 and 2. That may very well been a bit of a payback, but keep in mind, you guys pointed out, they're running for their lives to try to stay on the tail end of the lead lap.
So Corey Heim, bad night for him here in Madison. Haley Deegan, by the way, just had gone a lap down. She will get the free pass, will be back on the lead lap.
So she gets that advantage now of joining the lead lap cars, but she can't pit right away with those lead lap cars. So the procedures don't.
Let's take a look at this, Jim.
Yes.
Let's take a look. The 22 of Corey Heim to the inside of Sam Mayer in the 21. And there you see that contact with the right rear quarter. And Alex Hayden was talking about that battle right there that had occurred amongst those drivers. Sam Mayer trying to almost pull the crossover and just caught the right rear of Corey Heim.
Yeah, that does not look like something that happens every day here at Madison. I'm sure Sam didn't want to high side him, but as he came down the racetrack, perhaps he thought he could tuck in behind him and just ran out. Maybe the 22 had to back up his corner because of how much is being worn, tires and brakes around this racetrack.
Well, think about it. When you're on the inside like that, too, a lot of times you are going to back up your corner because otherwise you're going to just float right up the racetrack.
To hold your line, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, just a bad situation there for both Corey Heim and Sam Mayer, because we know Sam Mayer is the type of driver that doesn't want to do that on the racetrack.
Yeah, and it gives these guys a chance to come to pit road, but I'm sure Sam did not want it under this circumstance. And here comes our race leader to pit road, Bob.
I think a lot of these guys are going, whew, time to pit, time to get some new General tires on these machines. Will this be the only pit stop of the race? That's a big question right now. Michael Self in the green and white car, the series point leader on pit road. Chandler Smith in that Craftsman number 20 has got the best pit stall in the house here tonight by virtue of a great qualifying effort, the General Tire Pole Award winner. What's going on, Alex?
In Chandler's pit, they're going to make a quick wedge adjustment on the left rear corner, change all 4 of those General tires, top him off with Sunoco fuel. You know, these teams, guys, they have 6 tires at their disposal. What was the decision going to be? I think we've seen how this race is playing out. With the long green flag run, these crew chiefs expect another one, so they went ahead and put 4 fresh General tires on.
It's been a very calm race so far, something you don't expect on a short track as part of the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. Ty Gibbs in that 18 car, second coming into this round of pit stops here. So Ty Gibbs looking very good. Now all the cars a lap down or more, plus the free pass car of Haley Deegan coming down pit road here. We'll come back with the restart. Just past 100 laps into this one in the Shore Lunch 200 at Madison. A lot of Packer fans, I'm sure, in the house here tonight at Madison International Speedway. Of course, everybody a Green Bay Packer fan in the state of Wisconsin, and that's where we're tonight at Madison International Speedway for the Shore Lunch 200. Corey Heim actually hit the wall to bring out the first caution of tonight's race. Everybody basically pitted. Let's find out more on what is going on with the 22 with Alex Hayden.
Guys, after the contact with the wall, Corey Heim was finally able to get the car restarted. Back on the pit lane under the attention of his crew chief, Paul Andrews, and the team. Damage on the left rear corner is significant because with the very loose handling race car, they wanted to be able to add more Sunoco fuel to get more weight over the back tires to give more balance to the car. The damage has pushed that in where they fuel the race car, so they had all kinds of problems trying to accomplish that goal. This night's just gone from bad to worse for Corey Heim.
Bad break for the Carbon Racing Solutions number 22 of Corey Heim, and there you see the smack of the wall and the damage on that left rear quarter panel, and there's the fuel filler right there. So a lot of damage around that area could make it difficult for the team for the rest of the race.
They won't, as Alex mentioned, if they got any fuel in, that's great. If they can do that for the balance, but they have enough fuel if they packed it full before qualifying, because the cars qualified at 5 today. We raced at 8 local time. After qualifying, those cars couldn't be touched again, so they had to pack the fuel, put on the tires they wanted to start the race with as well.
Here's the Geico 411 for this race, 200 laps total here. The pit window, 70 to 75 laps. We far exceeded that here today. So, and of course, the first race here back in 1963. This is the 10th race for the ARCA Menards series here at this racetrack. What's up, Alex?
Problem with the 28 car of Carson Hocevar in that long pit stop. Had a hard time getting a spring rubber pulled out of the spring there. It got hung up. That was the reason they lost even more track position.
Bad break for Carson Hocevar. He is now at least a lap down, if not more. He's scored 1 lap down. Back to green. Chandler Smith in control. The battle for second, Jim.
You said the bottom line is the way to work. Well, the number 15 of Christian Eckes has to make that top line work. His teammate Michael Self trying to work his way in to make sure the 15 machine is not able to break free, keeping him on the high side, not hung out to a degree, but just enough. So Self gets the spot in the 25, and look at that, the 15 right down the banking in turn 2, Eckes to the bottom as soon as he could.
That was a forceful move for Christian Eckes back to the bottom. Here's Joe Graff Jr. side by side with Sam Mayer. A little love tap to the back of Brett Holmes in the 23. There's going to be some aggressive racing right now, I believe.
Freshest tires. We know the cars and the teams were able to talk about what they wanted to do on the racetrack, how to get their cars right. They had a chance to do it under a caution, not under green. So yeah, this could be the raciest part of the race with this brand new General Tire radial rubber underneath the machines. And it gives the number 18 Ty Gibbs a chance to see what the rear bumper looks like on Chandler Smith's car, because it became a smaller circle as this race wore on earlier.
Here's what you got to wonder at this stage of the game. It was Ty Gibbs with Mark McFarland, his crew chief, basically telling him to just chill out. Al Martin telling him to, his spotter just saying, don't worry about it, man. Let's just pace ourselves, run our race. We know we're going to have a pit stop. And right now, Chandler Smith is not pulling out like he did prior to that caution. Chandler Smith had like a 10-second advantage over Ty Gibbs, and now Ty Gibbs not letting him get away.
They were only like 18-second laps. So yeah, it was a half a lap or better lead at one point in this race. I like how Ty Gibbs is attacking this racetrack.
Oh, yellow is out on the racetrack. The 77 of Joe Graff Jr., I am told, as the yellow flag waves. A right front tire possibly cut on that Eat Sleep race machine. Actually, it's the left front tire on that machine for Chad Bryant Racing.
He was getting in it really hot and heavy on the backstretch with another car, and that car moved up on the racetrack. I think Joe didn't have the clearance, or was not able to get clear off of turn number 2.
Hey, Alex, what do you know?
I was listening to the radio. This is the second car that's had contact from the Mayer car here of the Chad Bryant Racing team. They were talking on the radio, telling the driver, Joe Graff Jr., race him hard. He wrecked your teammate. Stay with him. So that's exactly what was going on with Graff. He was trying to race as hard as he could, made contact again with the Mayer car. That cut down the left front, also cut down the right front when he got up into the fence. So tough break going on right now for the Chad Bryant Racing team.
Emotions on the rise here in Madison, but is that something that the driver needs to hear, Jim?
Well, it's a matter of saying race him hard. That's one thing. How you race him is different. I did see out of the corner on the very right-hand side of our screen, I think at one point I saw Mayer move up the racetrack and Graff's nose was still there. So hard racing can be interpreted any way you'd like, but for them to say he wrecked your guy and wrecked out one of your guys, It's a matter of staying clean, but racing hard. And unfortunately, they got together on the backstretch.
Next week, we go outside of St. Louis, Missouri, and check out the ARCA Menards series. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can catch it June 22nd, 7:30 p.m. on MAV TV for the ARCA Menards series. And, of course, this weekend, 1 p.m., High Point Raceway. Always a good time with the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. So you got to check that out tomorrow on MAV TV.
Left front fix, but we don't know what kind of damage has that car. We could see the white walls, if you will. There's a lot more white paint on the sidewall of his General Tire tires from that wall contact on the right side for grabs, so it's still undetermined if he has any further damage.
Jim, I think we have a race. I really do
yeah,
believe we have a race between Chandler Smith and Ty Gibbs for sure. Michael Self lurking back there, just like we told you he would. Didn't qualify super well, fell back earlier in the race, and then, of course, starts to work his way back up. I'm told Carson Hocevar will get the free pass. He'll be back on the lead lap by virtue of that free pass. Corey Heim back down pit road in that Carbon Racing Solutions 22.
Looks like they're paying attention to the front bodywork just to make sure it is right. Again, Corey Heim was involved in an incident, brought out our first caution a couple laps down, so why not take a look? This team has climbed to second in the Owners' Championship points with Ty Majeski with the 2 wins and a second-place finish in the last 3 tracks in the General Tire Super Speedway Challenge portion of the schedule. And they just want to make sure that left front is okay, I believe.
Alex, what do you know about the 20 right now?
Well, let's find out from their crew chief, Billy Venturini. You guys have had the lightning quick car here all night long. Got 4 fresh tires. Saw the slight chassis adjustment on the one and only pit stop. What's he saying about the handling, and do you feel like you can pull this one off?
Well, I mean, you know, with restarts, you never know how things are going to go. Hopefully, if we can get through restarts and get rolling, I think we're going to be pretty tough to beat. The car seems like it's really fast as we run. You know, it's just been a good night for us. Chandler's done a great job, and we've got good balance throughout pretty much the whole run.
Billy Venturini, he's the crew chief for the race leader, the pole winner, and by the way, the guy that's absolutely been dominating tonight's event.
Indeed he has, Alex. Chandler Smith trying to do what he did last year by capturing the General Tire Pole Award at Madison and then winning the race. Last year was his first career ARCA Menards Series victory. He now has 3 in the books early in his career, and tomorrow he'll be he's pulling double duty this weekend, going over to Iowa tomorrow.
And they're in a big hurry. When this race ends, they are focused on Iowa Speedway.
Unless they win. Then he's going to party a little bit in victory lane first.
Well, he's always 16, so it can't get too crazy. And I know how important it is for him and the Toyota Racing Development Team to progress drivers like Chandler Smith, who led more laps than anybody else last season in a partial schedule here in the ARCA Menards Series.
Back to green here at Madison. Venturini Motorsports with 3 of the top 4 positions here, 130 laps into 200 at Madison. Chandler Smith able to grab the lead again, but Ty Gibbs looking strong. Christian Eckes battling with his teammate and point leader here in the ARCA Menards Series, Michael Self, for 3rd, side by side off of turn number 2.
Boy, Self has really used that bottom edge, and actually he's gone to the apron here in turn 3 to get position on Eckes on the last restart. There he goes, dipped below that yellow line briefly to get that car to quickly turn under and stay even with his teammate without giving up that spot.
It's got to be tough if you're Brett Holmes, a couple of cars behind this battle here between Christian Eckes, Sam Mayer, but you see the point leader, Michael Self, out in front by a couple of cars. You're 15 points behind him. You're riding a couple spots behind him. And you can see now Brett Holmes starting to get aggressive because he knows every spot counts on the racetrack.
And Haley Deegan's right there to put the pressure on that number 23, the 55 of Deegan. In her 3rd ARCA Menards Series race, had a chance to tap and run, but she elected to get him clean off for turn number 2, and that let Brett Holmes alone in time to challenge to the inside of the number 21, the 15-year-old from Wisconsin, Sam Mayer.
Holmes back to the top 5, past Sam Mayer in the 21. They continue to be side by side right in front of that with the 15 and the 25 of Eckes and Self. So good battles here brewing, beginning. It was the calm before the storm in the first 100 laps here of the Shore Lunch 200, and now it's getting interesting. A little bit of a gap now, beginning between the 20 of Chandler Smith and Ty Gibbs, 2 teenagers that really have shown a lot of talent here in the ARCA Menards Series.
And I really wanted to talk more about this. Chandler Smith is driving this car like crazy, but look how smooth Ty Gibbs appears to be. His car is not jostling up the racetrack. He's turning on the other end. It's like a paperclip here. You drag race down the front stretch, you brake, you turn hard left, and you get back on the gas as soon as you can. He is so smooth right now. Look how that car just stays even across the front balance when he gets on the gas, and then he pops it back down into the corner. Such a nice handling race car for Ty Gibbs to be able to get in that momentum, stay within shot of the leader here after that pit stop.
Here comes Deegan. Deegan gets a spot past the 21 of Sam Mayer, so moves Haley Deegan up to 6th.
She's gapping him. I mean, she is on a charge here. This is good to see how she said, I like the bigger tracks, I like the different tracks. These cars feel faster. What a great acclamation for her in this ARCA Menards series to get this chance to race in longer races. And she already raced at Pocono Raceway. She's going to race at bigger tracks this year as well as part of her development.
Sam Mayer now moving back to the 7th spot, which Haley Deegan occupied. Carson Hocevar, the last car on the lead lap, in that 8th spot. But Deegan continues to be impressive. Right behind there is the number 28. Some brake problems seem to be resurfacing on that Carson Hocevar, number 28.
You know, the car right behind him, the 27 of Travis Braden, I looked as the hood was up, and I was talking to his crew chief, Dan Gloss. He said, we have 3, 1 additional brake fan line coming in from the front nose to each of the front brake calipers, 1 in the rear each, and our brake calipers are 1 5/8. We normally are a 1 3/8 inch caliper width, but he said we need so much brake here at this racetrack. That is going to be an issue, I think, towards the end of this race. 28 of Hocevar has already experienced that, I think, through the first portion of this race where he kind of held on for a while, lost those spots because he couldn't use the full brake to his liking.
Braden, by the way, running in that 9th spot, but he is 2 laps down, came into this race 3rd in series points. Chandler Smith, dominant. Ty Gibbs wants that victory. Can he get it here tonight? Shore Lunch, the presenting sponsor of this 200-lap race at Madison International Speedway. And earlier today, the Shore Lunch fish fry, a breading put on the fish, and it was a treat for all the fans and us guys in attendance here today with the TV crew.
And I saw Brett Holmes' general manager, Nick Moncher, in line there for the food. He's a foodie, so why not try the delicious hand-dipped Shore Lunch battered catfish?
Why not try to go after the lead if you're Ty Gibbs? That's exactly what he's trying to do right now, trying to fry him up some Chandler Smith here. 150 laps into this one, and look at the brake rotors glowing here under the lights in Madison, Wisconsin. And here he goes, looking to the inside for the first time. Smith contacted turn number 1. Ty Gibbs able to get up underneath Chandler Smith in that 20. The first time he's been contested. Ty Gibbs to the lead.
We'll see what the rear bumpers match up to this time. The front bumper of Chandler Smith down to the back of the 18 of Gibbs. Not this time. Wow. Ty Gibbs just had the position off of turn 4. Did that look, and then he said, I'm going to stay here. Give me a little room. If you don't give me room, I got to nudge you.
Ty Gibbs, so impressive. But look at those brake rotors glowing here under the lights at Madison. Pretty incredible for Ty Gibbs, leading only his 2nd and 3rd lap so far, at least in ARCA Menards Series competition. And that's kind of surprising because he has 3 runner-up finishes to his credit this year.
And 1 adjustment away each of those races, Bob. 1 adjustment away because it went longer green towards the end. Or if they did make a pit stop, they weren't able to make all the adjustments they wanted.
While we were away, we were having fun watching these two go at it. Brett Holmes in the 5th spot, Haley Deegan knocking on the door. Last year here at this racetrack, we had 2 ladies finish in the top 10, Natalie Decker and Tony Breidinger. They finished 6th and 10th. Right now, Haley Deegan is running in the 6th spot.
And this is the track where Nicole Behar, for Venturini Motorsports just a few years ago, scored the best ever short track finish, or tied that record, by finishing 3rd at this racetrack.
Best finish for a lady in the ARCA Menards Series, Shauna Robinson and Erin Crocker. A 2nd place runs for Erin a couple times over.
Yeah, she won the General Tire Super Speedway Challenge as well that year. So she had a great run in the ARCA Menards Series. She even had a sniff at the booth for some of the TV races. So it was kind of fun to hang out with her in that capacity as well.
Haley Deegan is an aggressive race car driver, and if you don't know the Deegan name, yellow flag out here on the racetrack, and I'm told, believe it or not, it's because of weather. Mother Nature rearing her ugly head here. Some sprinkles, maybe a little bit more than sprinkles. Hard to tell outside our booth, but look at that camera right there. Little rain coming down here in Oregon, Wisconsin.
We had the threat of rain all this afternoon. The winds were 40-mile-per-hour winds, Bob. I thought maybe that would help us blow that weather through. It was to the south of us when we began the race. Now another system is developed here, and we're about 20 minutes south of the state capital, Madison, Wisconsin, south central Wisconsin. And weather usually goes west to east here. I know that because I live just about an hour and a half from here, Bob. And knowing these weather systems and this being such a wet spring throughout the country, it hasn't shied away from raining a lot here at this part of the country as well. I think Greg McCarnes, the track owner and operator, said they have over 100 inches of rain this spring. So seeing the rain in the area has been a customary thing, unfortunately, for this part of the country.
We all know how Wisconsin proud you are.
Yes,
we see that on Twitter a time
yeah.
or two. Hats off to the McCarnes family here at Madison International Speedway. It's a family affair. They do a great job. USAC's coming to town in a couple of weeks. They have the Howie Lettow Memorial later on this year. A lot of great racing here. The Milwaukee Mile, by the way, with the ARCA Midwest Tour on Sunday here, just down the road in Milwaukee. The resurgence of that very legendary racetrack. That's going to be a blast on Sunday for the ARCA Midwest Tour and the super late models. But Ty Gibbs here under caution, and as I look at my little weather map that I have in front of me, there is a little blue, which is light rain, and a little bit of green, but right now it's a small little area of rain, so it'll be interesting to see how wet this racetrack gets and whether we'll be able to continue here tonight. Right now the Joe Gibbs Racing team is hoping that the rains continue. They get the victory, but right now Chandler Smith, second in this race, comes down pit road. This is an interesting move.
This team knows that this may go back green. They're not going to pit if they know it may be washed out. So this is a move that tells us good news. They expect to go back racing here. Using their last 2 tires they have in the pits that are fresh from General Tire.
Chandler Smith not leading the overall points, but leading the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge, Alex.
Right side tires, that's all they put on because that's all they had left. 6 tires are what the teams are allotted, so they came down. Why not? Go ahead and put those on. They made big wedge adjustments both on the right rear and the left rear. Tells me that that car is not handling well at all. It looked like it was loose under that last green flag run when he gave up the lead.
Yeah, great point, Alex, because he could not hold the car on the bottom and he had to change his corner entry to get through that corner, and Ty Gibbs' car was handling so well on the bottom, that gave him that opening.
So what's going to happen here? Chandler Smith, will he be able to get back to green flag racing and move through the field? Or will tonight be the night for Ty Gibbs, the grandson of Joe Gibbs, looking for victory number 1 in the ARCA Menards series after 3 second-place finishes so far this year? Ty Gibbs is getting good. Third caution of the night here at Madison International Speedway, and there you see some of the rain coming down here in this part of Wisconsin. The team's actually moving to pit road right now. Ty Gibbs is your leader. He just took over that lead from Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith, during this caution for rain, has pitted out of the second spot. So right now it'll be interesting to see if we get back to racing, but Chandler Smith has moved out of that second spot to come in and take tires. Let's find out what's going on with the number 18 with Alex Hayden.
And the crew chief is Mark McFarland. Guys, Mark, you guys clearly had the fastest race car, able to drive up and take the lead away. What's he saying about the machine's handling before we came under this caution?
First run we were a little bit loose. We made a really good adjustment there that he really liked. So I thought we had a really good car to win the race, and to pass Chandler here, he's so good here that to go up there and pass him like that was really spectacular for Ty. He's done an awesome job all year, and getting to learn these cars and just coming here with no experience. So we're really proud of him and this whole team.
None of us down here on this pit box are professional meteorologists, but when you look out from underneath your canopy here, is it raining cats and dogs too much to continue racing, in your opinion?
I'm not real sure. I'd like to say it is, but I don't know. I think it'll clear off here, and hopefully we can get it finished. Just got to figure out what we're going to do pit strategy-wise, see if we still got 2 tires laying here. So we got to do some research here and figure out what we're going to do.
That means for me to get down off the box, let Mark McFarland, the crew chief, and the team get back to work.
And one thing they're doing, Bob, is bringing the cars off the racetrack because the safety vehicles are going on the track, and they actually have an air tighten here. So that could be good news where they'll get that out there, and it'll drive the track much quicker with those safety trucks on the track as well.
And we're getting word from the ARCA Menards series officials that we're going to just wait this one out. It looks like, if you look at the radar, just a short passing little storm. Not even a storm. It's just some, persistent rain, I would say. So the 20 of Chandler Smith came down pit road. What are they thinking about that gamble, Alex?
Well, let's find out. Let's climb up on top of the war wagon and get a word with Billy Venturini. We talked to him just a moment ago about what was going on when the car was leading. Yep, you guys decided to come down under the caution, put on the right side tires. You're out of your tire allotment now. Why come down pit road at that particular point?
Because if we're here to win, I mean, bottom line. So there's 38 laps left, so when we go back, if anyone decides to come in after that, we'll be in front of them. If they decide not to, we've got 50 or 45 lap fresher right side tires and a great race car. So I think it gives us the best shot to win the race.
Has it changed the handling of the race car at all here in the last few laps?
Yeah, actually, when it was starting to rain, we were really fighting tight, but that'll happen when you're sliding a little. So we just got a little tight when it was starting to drizzle, and it looks like now, I mean, it's not hardly going. So of course we wanted to race to end when we were leading and want to get going again when we're 6-foot tires.
So we'll wait and see how this all plays out. He's right. It has essentially let up quite a bit. There is still just a little fine mist falling here in the infield, but overall nothing like what we saw a moment ago.
Well, Alex, you're still looking good. So just hang in there down there. You're doing a great job here today. Right there is Tommy Vi Jr. currently running in the 12th spot, that Extreme Cleaner number 10. A great run for him just a few races ago. Got his first top 10 finish, and that's very important for an underfunded independent driver like Tommy Vi Jr.
Extreme Cleaner made an investment in this driver. He's over the age of 50, but you know what? He's had a lot of laps. They love what he does for them outside the race car. He does a lot of appearances representing his sponsor. This is only his 12th ARCA Menards Series race. He made his debut here 1 year ago. So when it comes to 11 new racetracks, this is the first one he's been to before. Everything's new to him this year. So in that learning process, he's relied upon 1995 ARCA Menards Series champion and team owner today, Andy Hillenberg, to really get him through that. Andy's on his radio. He is the spotter for Tommy. And I talk to Tommy on occasion. I'm like, what do you think? He's like, oh, this car's really fast. I love this car. It's really fast. I just got to learn the racetrack and race to its capability.
Haley Deegan, very impressive so far, currently running in the 5th spot. So she has broken into the top 5. The 17-year-old, three-time winner in the NASCAR Can-Am Pro Series West. And a big win last week at Colorado caused quite the stir this week on social media. But I'm very impressed with her run here tonight in her 3rd ARCA Menards Series start.
And she's not been bashful about saying, I am here to race for the win. She thought that her teammate made a move on her a couple laps prior to on the green-white checkered restart, that she said, I need to get position. She wasn't going to back down. She was not, and she had a commanding lead at one point in the race. So that whole element played into what we saw perhaps on social media, at least I saw, from Colorado National Speedway in that Can-Am West race, that she did what she felt she had to do, and she said, I was there to win, and that's what we were there for.
And she is definitely an aggressive race car driver, and she makes no bones about it, honestly. She says, listen, I'm going to race you how you race me. She's impressive. She's won. It would be awesome to be able to see her win a race in the ARCA Menards Series. She has quite the future in front of her, and she is the daughter of former X Games medalist Brian Deegan. And Brian is here. The family is always around her. Haley Deegan, in her first start at Toledo a couple of weeks ago, didn't have the best of outings, for sure. She didn't qualify well, and then she was an early retiree. Was not happy at all, climbed out of the race car, and you'll see right here the disgust on her face as she climbs out, and then she talked to Frank Kimmel. But here is the contact on the racetrack. She and Joe Graf Jr. in the 77 get together. Tanner Gray in the 54 had nowhere to go, got into the back of her, but then Haley Deegan, she's very disappointed. She had a very interesting interview on our air afterwards, pointing towards Joe Graf Jr. and placing the blame on him for that incident. And she's definitely one that is very social media savvy and fun to watch on the social media.
And we know she has fast race cars for Venturini Motorsports. They have 4 wins here at Madison. They've got more wins this year than any other team. They have the equipment that she knows she can run up front with if everything goes right. She got frustrated there at Toledo Speedway, and she's not running for a championship, but she knows she needs to learn every lap here. And she has Frank Kimmel standing right there, helping her each and every time she's here at the racetrack. That's got to be a big help for her, and getting aggressive because she knows she has a good piece that can stick it in there and keep in. keep it in and run for the win.
Christian Eckes in that 15, running very well here today in the top 5. And Christian, the winner at Nashville a few weeks back in the ARCA Menards series. He is a driver that hoped to contend for the title this year, missed the race at Salem by virtue of an illness, and that has put him back in the championship fight just a little bit. What's going on with the 15, Alex?
Well, the car sitting behind us. Crew chief Kevin Reed was over there talking. Well, you guys have found yourself here in the second position now. Do you have anything for the front car if we get this thing going again?
Well, we fired back off there and had some was racing pretty hard, and then once we got single filed out, we was running as fast a time as the leader. So we'd put 4 General tires on it and made it a little better, I think, from the first half there. And Christian was getting after it, and we was going to try to give it everything we had. Right now, we've got 3 Venturini Motorsports cars in the top 6. Just, I'd be fine with it being over if it's going to be over, but we'll go back and race again too, and maybe have a shot at it.
Early on, Bob and Jim up in the booth were talking about how hard the brakes were glowing, especially in the opening few laps of this race. Any concern at all with the brakes?
No, we've got such good Brembo packages with the brakes that we use, and we've got a lot of good cooling on the car, so we're able to use them up and with as shorter races as we have, and it's generally not of an issue.
That's Kevin Reed, crew chief Christian Eckes, currently in position number 2. Well, he said he's okay if they went ahead and stopped things right now. I'm not so sure everybody else would agree.
And Kevin Reed's notebook is very thick, especially for this racetrack, believe it or not. He came here with Rich Bickle, who won a track championship here in his short track days. Rich is back short track racing, but Kevin's gone on to live in Charlotte and work for Venturini Motorsports. But when he said he worked here with Rich Bickle, they would travel to 14, 15 different races in a given 3-week span. That really helped him develop adjustments and ability. And here at this racetrack, as unique as it is, Kevin Reed has had notes for 20, 30 years now about this racetrack when he comes to visit.
Kevin Reed, the winning crew chief from 1 year ago with Chandler Smith as well. Michael Self there in the 3rd spot, the point leader in the ARCA Menards series right now, having another good run despite saying that he's not a short track guy.
You know, he is a short track guy. It just didn't show up in the win column here in the ARCA Menards series till 2019.
Oh, folks, I think we're going to get this one restarted here. I have a good feeling. The rain has kind of calmed down a little bit, and we still have plenty of racing to go and a lot of drama to unfold here at Madison International Speedway. Plenty of racing still to come on the ARCA Menards Series schedule in 2019. We're only halfway through this series schedule here. And we go to Gateway next week. It's going to be a lot of fun outside of St. Louis. And Jim, the ARCA schedule just littered with short tracks and big tracks alike.
You know, in this run, we talked about this being the 5th of 7 races in a row. After this, we go to Gateway, which drivers under the age of 18 can run. So Corey Himes gets his chance this coming weekend, June 22nd, in the Day-to-Day Coffee 150. That's a super speedway. It's not part of our Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge, but it's giving these young drivers a chance. Haley's only 17. She got to run Pocono. This is an opportunity for Corey Heim to race at age 16 at Gateway next weekend.
I can't wait to go to Elko. Elko, Minnesota, the past couple of years has been absolutely fantastic. Haley Deegan having a very good run, Alex.
Really is. And Frank Kimmel, and one of the greatest, if not the greatest to ever sit behind the wheel of an ARCA Menards car. That's the modesty coming out in you. We're talking.
I'll buy you dinner later.
Okay, yeah, so it's on you tonight. But talking all race long in this broadcast about how well she's done and how quick of a study she is. How impressed are you with this young driver?
Really impressed. I mean, she comes off the trailer today and goes right out and puts it in the top 2 or 3 on speeds and never seen this racetrack. So, you know, she's done a really, really good job. You know, tonight her car's a little bit tight in the middle, a little loose off. She's raced really, really hard, but the Toyota's running good, and, you know, I'm happy for you. It's exciting to watch her race.
What separates a good young driver from an average young driver?
Finishing good. You know, I think she just has shown that she really, really wants to do this, and you know, and it comes very easily to her. It's amazing to watch, and her feedback's been really, really good. And, you know, we kind of go by what, and the nice thing is when she doesn't know, she'll tell you that too. So it's been a really good, fun working relationship with her so far. And, you know, we're at P5 right now, but guys behind us have got some tires, so we don't know for sure what we're going to do when we get back green here. But I'm looking for a good top 5 finish for her, and then we'll move from there.
All the races you've won, all the championships you've won, and here you are working with a talented young driver. You look like you're having about as much fun as you've ever had. Is that the case?
No, not really. This is tough up here because you want to be able to go out and you know, there's some things that these young drivers do, and you're thinking, I don't know if I do it that way, you know, but sometimes they make it work, sometimes they don't. And you want to help them as much as you can, but they've got to learn a lot of it themselves too. So it's a tough thing to do, but all the cars, the Venturini cars, are really running good. All the Toyotas are doing what they're supposed to do, and hopefully we can get up there and battle for a win one time real soon.
Well, with 2 more tires left here in the box, I'll leave it up to the decision making. Heads, you take tires. Tails, you don't take tires. Is that how it works?
I think as soon as this thing starts rolling, I'm not going to BS you. We're going to put some tires on it and go at them as hard as we can.
Frank Kimmel, crew chief for Hailie Deegan, having a fantastic time. Even though you can see the smile on his face, I don't necessarily believe in the fact that he's struggling just a little bit with this gig. And you see 2 of the veterans of the ARCA Menards series right there.
Yes, 2-time champion Bill Venturini right there, and Frank was just way too modest. Nobody has won more titles in the ARCA Menards series than Frank, 10 titles. Nobody has won more races, 80 overall, than Frank Kimmel. Frank is not only a champion, but a darn good guy.
And the great thing about it is, I was talking to him at Toledo Speedway on pit road, and he was already talking to Hailie about what to expect at the Pocono test. What track may be different? What track may be similar to what she's doing at Toledo? He is a great resource. He, I believe, said to me at one point this season, the hardest part is not driving that car, and how hard I've been really on my crew chiefs over the years, because this is not easy, as he said. Wanting something as a driver is something different than what you can give them sometimes as the crew chief.
The funny thing is, too, when Frank went over to Venturini Motorsports, it's actually a really interesting perspective, because the Kimmels and the Venturinis fought each other tooth and nail for so many years here in the ARCA Menards series. Back to Alex.
Well, you saw the shot a moment ago, Frank Kimmel and Bill Venturini down here. It's rain, it's at the racetrack, something you've seen before. Give us an idea, first of all, about how your race cars are doing out here to this point with 162 laps on the board.
I'm happy. Our cars are pretty quick. It took Michael Self about 50 or 60 laps to figure out the racetrack. He struggled with that. Chandler Smith, he was, he's like a rocket. But after they made a 4-tire pit stop, little difference in the way the car handles it, they decided to come down and make another change. But hey, I'm happy. What are we? Right now we're 2, 3, 4, and 6. How can I complain?
So here you are. We just talked to Frank as you rode up here behind us there. Frank said, I am not having as much fun. This is a lot harder than what it looks, being on this side of the wall as opposed to being inside the race car. From your standpoint, is it any easier at all to have to watch cars and make cars go around the track faster?
Let me tell you, I've been sitting on the 25's pit box, and Shannon Rush is the crew chief, and every time something happens, I'm yelling at him, I'm tapping him on the shoulder and telling him something, and he turns around and he says, "You need to calm down." And I said, "You know what? When I calm down, that's when I'm going to worry." I says, because I just worry about it all. I mean, I just want everyone to be safe and have a good race. That's all. So I guess we're going back. I heard the cars fire up.
Well, let's see if you can give somebody a kiss on victory lane here in a bit.
I'm planning on it.
There you go, Bill Venturini, one of the veterans, one of the legends down here in the pits.
And Alex, you see the cars now pulling back onto the racetrack. They have fired once again, so it looks like we're going to go green flag racing. The interesting thing, Jim, you and me were just talking here in the booth, is the whole pit strategy situation. Billy Venturini told Alex Hayden a little while ago, they're here to win. And that's why he came down pit road when it initially started raining here. And honestly, it didn't look like the right move with how hard it was raining, because he was going to fall out of the second spot. But now you heard Frank Kimmel talk about the fact that he's going to bring Hailie Deegan in. All the cars in front of Hailie, the top 4 cars, they haven't taken tires. Will they be down pit road as well?
The top 5, including Hailie in the 5th position in the 55 machine. If he's telling us the truth, which I believe he is, those top 5 cars have not pitted for those last 2 tires. That may give Chandler the lead back. But the way ARCA does their lineups, cars that have on lead lap that did not pit start in front of the field. The next grouping, right after that group, is the group that is on lead lap that did pit. So you're giving up 5 positions, for example, for our race leader, number 18, Ty Gibbs.
We'll find out what happens here, because I'm told now next time around, pit road will be open. Frank Kimmel told us Hailie Deegan will be down pit road. Will Ty Gibbs and that Joe Gibbs Racing team be down pit road in the number 18? This is going to be a little bit of a chess game here. Sometimes you take the gamble. Track position, very crucial, but not a lot of cars on the lead lap. 8 overall, Sam Mayer in the 21 being the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah, he pitted. So did Carson Osavar. So did the 20 of Chandler Smith. If the top 5 pit, Smith gets the lead back. This is a race on and off pit road as well. Track position so hard to get later in these races.
Here they come. Everybody's coming in the top 5, led by Ty Gibbs in the 18, Christian Eckes, Michael Self, Brett Holmes, and Haley Deegan.
A little bottleneck coming to pit road there momentarily for the top 5.
It'll be a 2-tire stop for all of these teams. They took 4 tires earlier in the race, so they only have 2 more General Tires at their disposal. Good stop for Haley Deegan and that Venturini Motorsports team. Let's see where she gets off of pit road. We know that Chandler Smith is going to be the leader at the next restart. Good stop for Christian Eckes. Does he beat the 18? No, he does not off of pit road. Wow, that was close.
That line right there by the official shows that is the line I believe they're scored to get to. The 18 car was able to sneak out ahead of the 15 of Christian Eckes.
Barely. Wow, that was close. Good battle there. Good pit stop by the Venturini Motorsports bunch for the JBL Audio team for Christian Eckes. And there you see a little 200-mile-an-hour duct tape on the back end of that machine.
That's Haley Deegan's number 55. She came to pit road. She's pitted at the very near end of pit road as the cars come off the racetrack. She might have had a better stop, but the cars were kind of jammed up around her as she's trying to make her way. And that's another learning process here. The K&N Pro Series East and West have controlled pit stops, or they'll have a halfway break or something along that line. So live pit stops, a new element for Haley as she's adjusting. Using brake fans on and off can adjust the temperature of the tires or the tire bead, as well as getting the car to handle differently by using those brake fans on and off depending on the size of the racetrack. So that's all part of her learning process here in the ARCA Menards Series and what she's doing this year.
Tim Richmond in the 06 on pit road right now, tending to the right side of that race car. Tim actually being scored in the 14th spot.
For the 2 Dodges, these again are the steel body cars, and he has a legacy motor in this one. They also have a composite car they have to run on the big track, so they're excited to know they have a car from Venturini Motorsports camp that they'll be using at Gateway Motorsports Park. And looking at how he's running, not bad for a driver who just down the road near Chicago had been road racing for the last 3 years and said, I want to go stock car racing. And Tim and his dad, Sonny, they are so excited to be working with Wayne Peterson and this team, getting this chance to race every race that they possibly can with Con Nicolopoulos as their teammate this year under Wayne Peterson's racing efforts.
I want to give a shout out to Derek Perniciglio as well. Derek is actually home. He's been our pit reporter at times this year on our MAV TV broadcast, battling some kidney stones right now. So we wish you the best and a speedy recovery, DP. He's watching live tonight here, Madison, Wisconsin. Love this racetrack. This reminds me of why I fell in love with racing when I was a kid. My dad, who was a former racer, gave it up early on. We went to the racetrack as a family, and just the sound of this half-mile facility where you lift off the gas, you're hard on the brake, you release the gas, you maybe burp it in the middle of the corner. Man, it just gets my goosebumps rising up on my arm and gets that adrenaline pumping for me.
And these teams, I mean, this is what they race for. They want to get a chance at victory. We saw how that one caution changed the complexion halfway through this race when Ty Gibbs got that chance to close up to the leader, start the race side by side, and then stay within a car length of Chandler Smith at the time. These cars, these teams, now they know what they have. They know exactly what they have. They had a couple laps there coming under that caution flag when the snow. Oh, excuse me, the snow. I'm in Wisconsin, right?
You are.
When the rain started coming, those teams that decided, these 3 cars that are weaving back and forth, they came under the first part of that caution before we brought the cars to pit road. So they already have their tires. They're going to get the chance to start up front. I just think that Chandler Smith has got a car that he has now felt better with. They made that adjustment that Billy Venturini documented. And Hocevar, man, I'm telling you, this kid has been good. This team is very resilient in their first full run in an Owners' Championship in 2019 for this team.
Carson Hocevar back to the 2nd spot. Sam Mayer in the 21 now running 3rd. They did not pit the top 3. After that, Ty Gibbs there in the 18. But honestly, they all have the same tires because these 3 cars in the front pitted when that rain came out, took a gamble, or so-called gamble, to come down pit road and take on those 2 right side tires. It's really just a track position switcheroo here during this caution period.
Yeah, 0 lap disadvantage, if you will, for those guys who just pitted for those right side tires. And Hocevar and Sam Mayer were together on Monday. They went to a driving school that Driver's Edge Development, General Motors, GMS Racing, and Junior Motorsports, all those drivers went to a road course school on Monday. So it's kind of neat how these guys are running together now, just a few days later in Wisconsin on the short tracks.
Alex, we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. What are you thinking?
Well, I can tell you there's been some stop sign violation penalties for the majority of the drivers that came to pit road just when the pits opened a moment ago, except for one, Michael Self. He was the only one that adhered to the end of the pit lane stop sign, so he got to advance his position now. He'll restart in position number 4 in front of those cars that beat him off pit road.
It's a great report there, Alex. I saw a bunch of those guys go by where they hold the pit sign there, so I was wondering if something was going to happen. You saw Michael Self actually stop when the gentleman held out that stop sign. Ready to go back to green flag racing here. Chandler Smith, Carson Hocevar on the front row. Back to green flag racing in Madison. Oh, look out. 3 wide, Christian Eckes dipping to the inside by Travis Braden. And here we go, battle for the lead. Here comes Michael Self, who says he's not a good short track racer. Battling on the outside the tough way around. Carson Hocevar gets into Chandler Smith.
Rarefied air passing on the outside, especially at this Wisconsin short track. Self is showing the way, using the outside line. No one's been up that high on the racetrack for a lap, much less to get the lead here, Bob.
The tough way around this joint. The 25, Michael Self to the lead on the outside. Less than 30 laps to go, and an impressive move by Michael Self, the series point leader, to put him back on top. Battle for third, Christian Eckes to the inside of Carson Hocevar.
Very impressive. Full song here, holding nothing back. It's a matter of how good your left side tires are, Bob. The right sides are equals. How good and how did you manage those tires? They've only been changed on lap 114.
And what chassis adjustments did you make when you put those right side tires on to get your car a little bit better? Chandler Smith not giving up at all. Ty Gibbs back in the 5th spot right now. So Gibbs trying to march his way back through the field. Remember, he was leading when the caution came out for the rain on this racetrack. Chandler Smith, I don't think he's done. He maybe got snookered a little bit there on that restart, allowing Michael Self to take the lead, but that car has been just too good, and honestly, much better than that 25.
Smooth on the restart, trying to now take the line away, really, from Chandler Smith. Anywhere Chandler may have an advantage. Self now knows, I have to keep my car on the bottom, because that's exactly where Chandler wanted to keep his, and he did, and I got by him on the outside. 3
Venturini Motorsports cars battling for the top spot. Christian Eckes almost gets into the 20, and indeed he did. Contact between the 20 of Chandler Smith and Christian Eckes in the 15.
Great hard racing here. 25 laps to go. Just a little bit of a tick on the bottom apron. You see how Eckes' car shot up there? Great car control.
I saw it indeed. Now Chandler Smith trying to pin him to the bottom just a little bit. Eckes able to get the advantage on the preferred groove on the inside line. Eckes to second, and look at Chandler Smith saying, I don't like that too much. You shouldn't run me like that. But Eckes now in second. Ty Gibbs just behind Chandler Smith. Smith, by both of his teammates, has gotten booted out of the way a little bit. The 25 Chandler Smith, the 25 of Michael Self going to the lead now. Christian Eckes to second.
Lap car there, Richmond on the bottom, will hold up the charge momentarily by Smith. Michael Self, we haven't talked much about his crew chief, Shannon Rush. We talk about how great the pairings are. They've been really good all year. Very fast race cars. Shannon Rush, part of the Bounty Rookie Challenge, Rookie of the Year with Riley Herbst, moving over to Venturini Motorsports in the off-season here. Done a lot of work with Kevin Reed in the shop to change these cars to what he was bringing to the table. That's helped increase the speeds with the Venturini Motorsports, especially on the short tracks here in 2019.
Christian Eckes is hungry to get back to victory lane. He won at Nashville about a month ago. Now he would like to get his second victory on the season. Right now he's currently 4th in points, 85 points out of the lead, even after missing the race due to an illness at Salem, Indiana.
Tells you how good his car has been. Seventh or better for those races except for one.
Contact between the top 2. Eckes spins it off of turn number 4, trying to avoid more contact with Michael Self.
Gets really close on the bottom, and that apron is completely flat, and that caught, I believe, the left side tires of Eckes. He could not keep it under his teammate to hold the position.
Let's take a look at what happened between Michael Self and Christian Eckes. He booted him a little bit, got underneath, but honestly, his left side tires were below the apron, on the apron right there. And sometimes when you get that left front tire on the flat, it's going to force your car to kind of loosen up on that back end and possibly spin around.
Notice how flat that left front tire was, flat on the apron, I should say. As he came up the track, he had no opportunity, no real other option than to hold his line down, and that little bit of an apron run upset that race car enough to send him around. Good job by him not to take any other cars with him, but Christian Eckes, in his attempt to save it, had to spin to the inside.
There was contact between Eckes and Michael Self. Self really never got to that second groove, but Christian Eckes stuck his nose in there for sure.
You know, I was here for a race. Veterinary Motorsports had a Toyota development driver by the name of Tanner Thorson, a USAC National Midget Series champion. He went to the outside and passed cars late in the race here at Madison in an ARCA Menards Series car. I don't think that was possible. He's a dirt guy. He's used to doing that. I don't know if Michael Self's ever raced on the dirt. Ever.
I'll tell you what, Tanner Thorson had a highway wreck, by the way, earlier this year. Has come back to the USAC ranks and in the midget ranks, Power I and so forth, and come back and has won and finished well in the Keith Coons midget. So really good to see that story. We'd love to see him back here in the ARCA Menards series. Now Christian Eckes was running second, battling for the lead. He spins off of 4, now back in the 8th spot.
This is not over yet, Bob. We've got 17 laps to go.
Oh, this is going to be interesting because remember, Chandler Smith, he's kind of like an elephant. He may be just 16 years old, but he doesn't forget. And he remembers what Michael Self did to him on the restart. Michael Self did it on the outside line. Now where will Michael Self choose on the restart? Will he take the inside, which is technically the preferred line around this place, or will he go to the outside? I'm saying he's going to the inside, but considering that, I believe Chandler Smith is going to drive really hard on the outside.
I believe Michael Self has no choice but to use the bottom lane. He can control the race. He can't control what Chandler will do. I think Chandler was in such a protect mode to allow Michael the outside groove on the last restart. I don't think Michael Self will be as low on the racetrack, if you know what I mean. So I think it's going to be Self on the bottom. He will control this restart. He will race him into turn 1. And the key element, as I talked about the keys at the beginning, getting a run off of turn 2 on the bottom, that will also be Self's advantage on this next restart.
So Eckes, can he climb back up through the field? Interesting battle here. This was a battle for the lead. Eckes nudged Self up the racetrack, and you can see that left front just catch on the apron, the flat of the racetrack. And what that does, it kind of lightens up the back end and force that 15 around coming off of turn number 4.
And you saw Christian's head turn to the right as soon as the car loosened up on him, and he had nothing to do but lock her down from that point forward. Look, you could see in the cockpit, in his helmet, he was turning to the right, trying to see if there's any way he could recover, and the car was just too far gone. Great looks.
Yeah, bad break for the driver out of Middletown, New York. Next time by, green flag. Great job by our Lucas Oil Production Studios team here tonight.
Denise Engel on the flag stand had a whole lot of work to do until about lap 114 when I had her first caution. Now she's been pretty busy.
Indeed, she has. Look at this. Michael Self takes the outside groove here. It
Mr. Unpredictable. I think I have a new nickname, Mr. Unpredictable. Can't win on a short track? Does that. Can't win a pole? Wins that.
You got to love this. You got to love it. Michael Self. Only he knows right now, and it worked for him the last time around on the outside to take the lead. Chandler Smith has got to be going, this is going to be gravy, baby, on the inside. Let's go after the victory, go back to the lead. Can Michael Self keep it? 15 laps to go. This is going to get interesting right now.
One restart line, not a restart zone. They crossed that line and Chandler Smith was on the gas. Self on the gas, and a faster launch off the front stretch.
Wow, what a run Michael Self got on that restart. And now Chandler Smith trying to fend off the 16-year-old Carson Hocevar.
Trying to keep it off the apron. They saw what happened when the 15 of Eckes got too low. 28 Hocevar now to the outside, almost 3 wide here to turn 1.
Look out, the fans being treated here at Madison International Speedway to a great race. For second right here, Chandler Smith cuts off Carson Hocevar. Ty Gibbs is there as well. But you know who loves this battle right now? Michael Self, because he's starting to open up just a little bit of a gap over Chandler Smith.
Michael Self wearing a bright white helmet. All I saw was the helmet that time. He is focused. He's head down, looking through the steering wheel almost. Focused, not looking in the mirror, looking ahead.
Ty Gibbs to second. this is going to get good here at Madison. Closing in on 10 laps to go. Chandler Smith has caught Michael Self, and it looks like he gets into the back of him. Hailie Deegan smoking at the rear of the field, but I believe there was a little bit of contact there. And right now, Chandler Smith to the inside of the 25. Chandler Smith going back to the front, and here comes Ty Gibbs with him. Yellow flag comes out. Wow.
Hailie Deegan might have had fluid coming out of that race car. The tires look awfully shiny on the sidewall, which to me tells me there's something under the hood that's spraying back on the car, getting moisture on those tires. She's to pit road, and I don't know if Michael Self is going to be too much of a kind teammate here. The 20 car of Chandler Smith will assume the lead up unless they go back. We'll see what scoring does. But the point of this is Chandler Smith was already into the back of Michael Self before they got to turn 1.
Let's take a look at this right here.
Watch his Self's car.
Michael Self, and look at Chandler just drive him into the corner.
Forced him up the racetrack to get that position.
Wow. Aggressive move by Chandler Smith, doing double duty this weekend, going to Iowa for the Gander Outdoors Truck Series race tomorrow. Hailie Deegan, the 17-year-old out of Temecula, California, with trouble here. She was on the lead lap in the top 10, having a great run here today. Was in the top 5 just a short time ago, but now trouble for that Venturini Motorsports number 55.
Unless you have 3 wheels flat, 3 wheels drag on the racetrack because you have 4 general tires or 3 and 1 going down, you're not coming to pit road. There's no way.
You're not. No.
There's no way you're giving a track position right now.
Not at all. There's no more tires to be had. And there you see, look at all the oil there underneath the hood of the Hailie Deegan machine, and that appears to be terminal, honestly, for the 55. So a tough break for that young driver.
So if it's an oil line, what have you, there's more than 5 quarts like your car at home. There's like 15 quarts of oil for these engines to process, to stay cool within the oil cooler as it cycles back through the engine. A lot of oil being sprayed under the hood, and the safety workers doing a very diligent job making sure that if there's any fluid on the racetrack, they can get that cleaned up before we go back green.
And it looks like oil coming out of the exhaust for the 55 machine of Hailie Deegan as well. So that team will push that car to the infield. You can see the track crew here at Madison International Speedway. They are just putting some speedy dry down on the oil that was put down by the 55 car. Now just 8 laps to go in this one, and it's not over. Not over by any stretch of the imagination. I'm told red flag next time by, so that way we preserve the final 8 laps of this one, or 7 laps by the time we probably get started once again. But Chandler Smith leading, Hailie Deegan outside of the race car, taking off her helmet, I'm sure, going to be a little bit dejected.
Yeah, that oil around the racetrack, paying attention to turns 1 and 2. Close attention there as Hailie's car we saw on the replays. It started smoking just as she crossed the start-finish line in about 7th position.
So Hailie Deegan right there with Alex Hayden. Let's go down to Alex.
Yeah, Hailie out of the race car. Any indication at all what happened out there?
I honestly have no clue what happened all of a sudden it started smoking belt, but I honestly don't know.
190 or so laps here in Madison. Your thoughts on this place and how tough this racetrack is?
Yeah, it's a really tough track to pass on. That's the big thing. It's really hard to pass. Kind of you just train track behind people. But in the end, I feel like we had a good run tonight. Stuff happens. It's racing. It's cars. Things are going to break eventually, so it's okay.
The bottom of the racetrack is where everybody seems that they wanted to be. Was your car able to handle down there when you were running at speed?
Yeah, I feel like my car was good on the bottom. I felt like we had a car that definitely hung in with everyone else. The top running guys, it was just the fact of the long runs, just constantly wearing tires out, wearing on the car gets hot, started falling back a little bit, but in the end, we were right there in the end and could have had a good shootout race, but it's all good.
That's Hailie Deegan, certainly trying to stay optimistic and positive. Not much you can do about it when there's some sort of a terminal problem underneath the hood.
This is what I like about Hailie Deegan. You can see she was not all too happy. That's her dad, Brian, right there, the former X Games medalist. And you can see she wasn't happy. But she did the interview and brought it to a positive note by the end.
Next time we'll see her, Elko Speedway, Lucas Oil Raceway, and wrap up with the finale, the big track in Kansas.
8 laps to go here at Madison when we return. Welcome back to Madison International Speedway in Wisconsin, the ARCA Menards Series Shore Lunch 200. Hailie Deegan had been running in the top 10. It looks like problems underneath the hood for that teenager, making her 3rd series start. under red flag conditions because of the oil that was dropped down on the racetrack because of that engine difficulty for the Venturini Motorsports number 55. All the cars stopped on the backstretch upon the entrance to turn number 3. Chandler Smith, your leader now with 8 laps to go.
We'll check in with Chandler Smith on his radio. Chandler, Jim Trado in the MAV TV booth. That was an aggressive move you made there, but it is go time, is it not?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, it's the end of the race. There's like 10 laps left of this thing. You got to do what you got to do to bring home the win here tonight. Everybody's being really aggressive. I've been moved twice tonight, so you know, you just got to get aggressive as well.
And Chandler, getting back to when you guys made that choice to come to pit road after losing the lead, after leading all those laps, how quickly can the car condition change, and what did you find that went away the most to make that repair on pit road and lose that track position, albeit momentarily?
Yeah, we just got over-adjusted a little bit and got a little too snug there, I felt like. So I think we got it all fixed now, and we're about to go see if we can win this thing.
All right, we wish you well to the end of this one. Thank you, Chandler. I hear engines refiring, Bob.
I do too. Of course, Chandler Smith going to be threatened by his teammate here on the restart, Michael Self, who he just made contact with to get back in the lead. Right now, standing by with the crew chief for Michael Self is Alex Hayden.
And that's Shannon Rush. And, well, here you are with a driver who says he's not a short track racer, with win the closing laps and still with a great chance to win. Do you feel like you've got the race car to give to him to get this job done?
I think the race car's there. We just got to keep them cool, keep our teammates from running into each other here. Venturini Motorsports builds phenomenal short track cars. So, you know, Michael Self claims he's not a short track guy, but he's the guy you want behind the steering wheel in the closing laps here. So I'm pretty confident in him.
Did Michael say anything at all about the contact just a moment ago in the green that gave up the lead?
No, just wish we had just a little bit more respect, but, you know, it's short track racing, so, you know, we work on all the Venturini cars, so I don't want them to tear any of them up.
Clearly, guys, there are no team orders down here for Venturini.
And listen, you know, my dad always said you bring your friends to the racetrack, and they may be teammates, they all get along, but at the same time, they're at war with each other on the racetrack. And right now you could hear by Shannon and what he said, not all too happy with Chandler Smith and that 20 team. There you see the moon above Madison International Speedway and this half-mile speed plant. I don't know if that's a full moon tonight, but it could get pretty interesting here, like a full moon situation at the end of this one.
And if you are going short track racing or plan on short track racing tomorrow night at your local short track, we've seen solid restarts using the outside. We've seen the bump and run. We've seen the get to the bottom and spin out trying. I mean, there's been a lot of different things played out here that everyone can learn from. How to get a good restart. What's left in the trick bag, though, for Chandler Smith?
Well, did you see what just happened here? They just chose, and Chandler Smith, I believe, just chose the outside groove. There you see Bill Venturini, Billy Venturini, Shannon Rush, Billy Venturini, the crew chief for Chandler Smith, Shannon, the crew chief for Michael Self. I'm sure that's an interesting conversation up there, but Chandler Smith choosing the outside line on this restart.
Taking away one trick from Michael Self right there. And he saw how good it was up there for Self on that restart a few laps ago.
Michael Self got out to a pretty good advantage. Will Chandler Smith do it here today? Still 16 years old is Chandler Smith, looking for back-to-back wins here at Madison. Nice slow pace coming to the line here in turn number 4 with just 5 laps to go at the line.
Wow, what a restart. 6 car lengths by turn 1 for Chandler Smith.
Yeah, Chandler Smith says adios to the rest of the field right now. Michael Self trying to hold on to second. But Ty Gibbs is so good on the bottom side of the track coming up off.
Great reservation there held by Sam Mayer and the 20 of Carson Hocevar pouring into turn 3 there. That could have been a big wad up, but they all jumped on the brakes harder, lost a little bit of momentum. But a good job by those teams to keep it square here and racing hard into turn 3 side by side now.
The 18 of Ty Gibbs and the 25 of Michael Self battling for second on the racetrack. But I believe the 18 is being posted for possibly jumping that restart. He will have to have a drive-through penalty, I believe, because of that. So interesting scenario. He changed lanes on the restart is what we are being told right now. There you see the black flag for Ty Gibbs.
Maintaining lane until the start-finish line on every restart is required. Wow, look at that. Now he's trying to serve the penalty, but Sam Mayer had no idea. Ty getting out of the gas. He'll have to come down pit road, not at the pit. He'll just have to roll down pit road for a pass-through penalty.
White flag in the air for Chandler Smith. Look at the gap over second. Michael Self, great battle here for third, fourth, and fifth. Sam Mayer involved in there. Travis Braden is in there in the fifth spot. Brett Holmes. But how about this? The kid from Georgia will become the first two-time winner in the ARCA Menards Series at Madison. Chandler Smith wins.
Whatever was going to happen on that restart, it was going to be determined by what Chandler Smith did. His great run on the outside set the tone, made Ty Gibbs make a move, made Michael Self run to the corner and say, I need to hang on to second. He's got such a good restart on me. To hold on to that second spot has our point leader, Michael Self, coming home second, gaining those points, lengthening back out that 15-point lead once again. He's led laps in this race to add 5 more bonus points for leading a lap as well.
Will we see some donuts here by the driver of the Craftsman number 20? I believe he just pulled it to a stop here on the front stretch, already taking off his gloves. He's got a big weekend ahead of him.
Maybe he's got the car idling in the parking lot already. He's got to head to Iowa for his Truck Series debut with Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Chandler Smith, 16 years old. It's incredible. Back-to-back wins here at Madison. His second victory of the season, second victory in a row for him in his ARCA Menards Series starts. Ty Gibbs posted for a penalty, an infraction on the restart, changing lanes. He had to come to pit road. That dropped him to 8th overall in the finishing order. It's a bad break for Ty Gibbs. His day will be coming here in the ARCA Menards Series.
Last car to finish on the lead lap for Ty. Again, serving that penalty, because if he didn't, then they would pull the scoring card altogether, and there could be other ramifications. So doing the smart thing, and Ty, albeit in a partial schedule, that number 18 team is also racing for the championship, and Ty is heading back to the pits with that number 18 machine. He wanted to be right where we are with you in victory lane, trying to position the Chandler Smith's number 20 Craftsman Toyota.
Hans device off, the helmet is off, and just awaiting young Chandler Smith to jump out of this race car. A fantastic run, and how about that call there just before the red flag came out by crew chief Billy Venturini, who comes into the shot there wearing the blue. He made the decision to give up all that track position, make an adjustment, go ahead and put 2 right side tires on. Rain goes away, everybody else has to come to pit road, and then it was up to the driver on restarts to come on out and get the win. Here's Chandler Smith in victory lane for the second straight year here at Madison International Speedway. High fives all the way around. Fantastic drive tonight. Let's start all with these restarts here in the closing laps. How difficult was it?
Oh, yeah, man. I just can't thank these guys enough. Venturini Motorsports, Craftsman, 828 Logistics enough. All these guys behind you, they put on a heck of a job today. You know, it's just, I had to put it all together there at the end of the race, and it all came to that final restart, and I ended up getting him to spin his tires, and that's why we're sitting in victory lane right now. So hats off to all these guys. They needed this right here, and we're going to celebrate hard tonight.
How much did the car change? Because the opening parts of this race, you were absolutely dominant and gone. Did the car change a lot?
Yeah, we just over-adjusted a little bit on our first initial pit stop when we came in and got 4 tires. So we went in when we got 2 tires. We went back to how we were, and that's why we're sitting back in victory lane.
When those restarts were going on and under green flag conditions, you got awful aggressive with your teammates. They got aggressive with you as well. How much fun was it to actually do that type of racing where you can bump and run knowing you had teammates you're racing hard with?
Dude, it's short track racing. It's such small corners. You're going to have that. I got moved twice tonight, and I was just waiting on my move at the very end, and it ended up paying off. So hats off, like I said, all these guys. It's going to be a good night for us.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chandler Smith, second straight year in victory lane here in Madison.
And honestly, Jim, he can't go and party too much tonight because he's got to head over to Iowa and compete in the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series tomorrow for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Chandler Smith, 4th overall victory in ARCA. Michael Self in 2nd. Sam Mayer with a good podium finish. Travis Braden, how about that? 3rd in points coming into this one. He battles back from going a lap down, finishes 4th, and Brett Holmes, his 3rd consecutive top 5 run.
And those are 2 guys racing for the championship, just 25 points apart coming into this one, and they were side by side at the finish. finish line. This carries on throughout the entire season. We're already halfway through, Bob. Probably the earliest in the calendar we've ever been halfway through a season, mid-June, and we're looking forward to the second half to spend with you with all those races live on MAP TV coming up.
Tommy Vi so close to another top 10 finish here in the ARCA Menards Series, finishes just outside in the 11th spot. This was interesting. Man, it was so calm at the beginning of this one, and then all the drama ensued in the final 100 laps of the Shore Lunch 200 here at Madison International Speedway. Chandler Smith celebrating for the second consecutive year here at Madison with his Venturini Motorsports team. We'll talk to the other finishers when we come back.
The ARCA Menards Series is brought to you by Extreme Cleaners, tough on grime, safe on the environment. Richmond Water Heaters, the water heater experts. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
Chandler Smith celebrates in victory lane here in the ARCA Menards Series at Madison International Speedway. He was dominant throughout this race, but it was an interesting battle with his teammate Michael Self. Here's Michael standing by with Alex Hayden.
It was an interesting battle out there in the closing laps with your teammate. So walk us through the aggressive racing and knowing that you had a teammate that may or may not necessarily be so rough coming back at you.
It's kind of how he's been a little bit this year, but you know what? Chandler's a good racer, man. He's really fast. I'm actually excited to watch him go run that truck at Iowa tomorrow. That's going to be cool for him, but like a little bit more respect maybe, and then just blasting me getting into the corner. But I tell guys all the time, you know, I was that guy once. I am still that guy sometimes, but you know what? Today was going to be a horrible day for me, I thought. I mean, we were no good in practice. Didn't feel like I qualified great. I mean, we fell outside the top 10, I think, in the early stages of the race. And props to Shannon and these guys in the number 25 St. Clair Oil Toyota. We had a really good long-run car. I mean, probably the best car here after about 50 or 75 laps. But unfortunately, we had that one long green stint, and then we didn't get many after that. So too much tight racing there at the end. You know, the reason I like big tracks is because we get out there single file. There's no one around you. It's, you know, I'm kind of old, and that's kind of stressful. I like to be single file out there doing my own thing, not tight racing like this.
So how does a self-proclaimed non-short tracker do so well on a short track?
Good car. Just a good car around me, man. This thing, it was a good car tonight, and I take full responsibility for just not really figuring this place out that well. This place is not taper to me as a driver because my tendencies are to overdrive so badly. And, you know, it took me a while to figure that out. And I think once I finally did, it played off in that long run. And we just had a good package, you know. Thanks General Tire for giving us a tire that's fun to race at these places that are wore out and abrasive, but that'll last, that you can have reliance on. And, again, thanks to Sinclair and Venturini Motorsports for giving me the opportunity to be out here and to have fun here in the ARCA Menards Series.
After the penalty earlier in the week, did you find any of those 50 points?
I haven't found them. I found frustration.
There you go. Michael Self, second place run tonight. A fantastic drive for this young man.
The 28-year-old with his 7th top 5 finish of the season. Let's take a look at this final restart where Ty Gibbs was actually penalized. Watch the 18 car, and you need to maintain your line and not pull out before the start-finish line.
Maintain a lane. So as we saw Michael Self on the obvious inside line, he must have had, by rule, you have to follow the car ahead of you in the line you are in. Self was on the inside line. Ty created a lower line, and he made the move before that start-finish line.
That's a good view right there of what exactly happened and why ARCA made the call. Back to Alex.
Sam Mayer, third place run tonight. So walk us through how this 200-lap event unfolded for you from start to finish.
Early on, we were really, really free and everywhere, really. So we came in, tightened it up, and that seemed to help the car a little bit. So we were just waiting patiently about mid-pack. So waiting for something like this to happen where we had a late race caution, and with short 10 laps to go, we were able to somehow fight up to a top 3, which is pretty awesome. Everyone at Driver's Edge Development, Chevrolet Accessories, GMS Racing especially, helping me out, giving me the best car possible, and glad we could get a top 3 out of it.
The 15-year-old, a second-place run and third-place run, maybe a victory the next. Let's take a look at the Lucas Oil race recap. Corey Heim, Sam Mayer, contact with him. Corey Heim into the wall in turn number 3. And then finally, because of that, we had some pit stops.
Yeah, and it came down to getting that right strategy. 4 tires first and come in for 2 later. But really on these restarts, we saw a whole lot of different ways to go about restarting. What we did see consistently was Chandler Smith getting a launch off of the turn 4 to get a great restart. And
contact as well.
And
contact.
We saw a lot of contact. Look at this move and run.
Yeah,
that was after the 18 got moved up the track by the 20 in the turn 1.
Ty
Yes.
Gibbs getting by Chandler Smith there for the lead. And then shortly after that, the rains came down. We had a short rain stint here at the racetrack, brought up the red flag condition, and then we went back racing. Chandler Smith battling with Michael Self. Look at this. Michael Self on the outside, taking the lead. Christian Eckes spins off of turn 4, battling for the lead. And then an interesting battle going into 1. Chandler Smith shoving the 25 up the racetrack, getting the win here at Madison for the 2nd consecutive year.
Sam Mayer recovering there. We saw that battle to the line. Those are the guys 2nd and 3rd in points. It was an awesome run for those guys as well.
Chandler Smith, Billy Venturini right there celebrating in victory lane. Billy, the crew chief for the 20, has been here for the last, just a little bit over a year that Chandler Smith has been competing in the ARCA Menards series. This was fun here tonight.
Great autograph session. A lot of great race fans. Saw a whale of a race. We talk about the youth in the series. Guess who prevails once again? This young man, Chandler Smith, proven a point at 16. He belongs in the ARCA Menards Series victory lane.
For Jim Trado, Alex Hayden, and everybody at Lucas Oil Production Studios, I'm Bob Dillner saying thank you for watching the ARCA Menards Series on MAV TV, and congratulations to Chandler Smith.